What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Reddit Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host Matt Llewellyn and our guy Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. We got the full trio back for you guys for tonight's show. We will be recapping the Raiders 49ers preseason game, 49ers final preseason game, and then maybe recapping the entire preseason as a whole and preview who we think will make the 49ers 53-man roster. It's going to be a great show. You don't want to miss it. Before I toss it over to my guys, if you're tuning in on X, make sure you like and repost the post. If you're watching on YouTube, on either channel, 49ers Hype or Nothing But Niners, make sure you like and subscribe. And be a solid one and go to the other channel and like and subscribe as well. Now I got that out of the way. Matt, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here. It's good to be back. I know I had to miss the last show. Such as life, things happen, but I was able to catch the game. Very interested to see what you guys' take is on it, and I'm excited to talk about that and what we think the 53 is going to be, because that's going to be the next big thing by Tuesday.
Yep. Mike, how you doing?
I am great. I just spent the entire day at my grandmother's house. She is on her way out, not to make it somber or anything like that, but the family has been gathering on a daily basis to, spend as much time with her as possible. And it was a really, really, really good night. So I'm in high spirits, ready to talk some football though. Get back. This is always my break from the real world. So I'm always excited to talk some Niners ball, man.
Glad we could be that escape for you. Let's do it, man. So obviously all of you guys know Friday night's game ended in a tie, which I thought was hilarious, but that's preseason football for you. I believe the final score was like 23-23 and a tie. 49ers had a chance to win it at the end, but they did not. I think it was an incomplete pass on fourth down, if I remember correctly. And then at the very, very end, that was the second to last drive, very end, they had that crazy Hail Mary play that almost pitched back, which would have worked maybe if Tanner Mordecai didn't throw ahead. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, though. Let's start from the beginning. Brock Purdy and all the starters played, obviously minus Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk. Matt, I'll start with you. What did you think of Purdy and the rest of the starters on offense their night?
Yeah, overall, I thought Purdy was pretty efficient. Took what the defense gave him. There's some debate on whether the throw to Kittle was a good throw, a bad throw, if he didn't get to follow through. If not, whatever. But I'm not too worried about that. That's a throw that a lot of quarterbacks will try to squeeze in there. And, the way that it looked like to me was that the linebacker wasn't going to get it. So it was just a matter of whether Kittle could go get it. And if not, the danger to that throw to me more than the linebacker in front was the safety behind. And if Kittle doesn't make that play or it gets tipped up in the air, then maybe the safety behind can get a tip drill interception. But those throws for Purdy, he's kind of throwing to a spot. He let the ball go as Kittle was coming into his break. So we know that those are timing throws, and he just kind of had to get the ball out. I thought a really good throw to Deebo on the sideline, the back shoulder. But yeah, overall it was okay. I thought that the running game was really good. Jordan Mason looks like running back too. He looks really good. He looks explosive. He looks tough to bring down. And the most important thing is, unlike Elijah Mitchell, he's available and he plays and he's healthy. So that's going to be the most important thing there. If you can show up on Sundays, then you're going to get a spot. So I think they got running back 2 locked up. Great play on special teams by Isaac Guerrero. The 95-yard return didn't take it to the house, but he made it look good. So that was good. But my biggest problem was with the wide receivers. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to make a hot take right here for everybody. You guys can mark it down. A couple of years ago, I talked about George Kittle being washed. It didn't turn out to be the case. So, he made me look bad, and that's okay. That's fine. I'll own that. I was wrong about George Kittle. I don't think I'm wrong about this one. Guys, Deebo Samuel's cooked. He's cooked. He can't separate. He got clamped. The one Purdy interception, he got clamped by a third-string cornerback. Couldn't separate to save his life. That deep ball could not separate to save his life. Deebo needs the ball in space because as a route runner, he's garbage. Can't separate. The problem with that is you run all these plays with Christian McCaffrey. And he's good at catching the ball sometimes, bad at catching the ball the other time, right? The throw down the sideline was a really tough catch. He made a great catch, got his feet inbounds. The second throw on the slant that was tipped, that hit him in the hands. It's right in front of his face mask. You got to catch that, and that's how those tip drill interceptions happen. When I look at Deebo Samuel as a pure wide receiver, and now he's hit age 30, and he's had a bunch of these soft tissue injuries, and he typically hasn't come to this. He's in the best shape of his life, right? Right? He's in the best shape of his life. Then why can't he separate from anybody? Why does he get clamped up in one-on-ones? And that's not just this game. The storyline throughout training camp is that Deebo Samuel's not separating in one-on-ones. So I think that he's cooked. And I see Jesus in here. Deebo interception was telegraphed. Everyone knew it was going to him. Yeah, but it still hit Deebo in the hands. Those are timing throws. That's the way that it goes. Those are timing throws. Of course, everybody knows that when the Niners run slants, it's probably going to the slant. But those are your quick hitters. Those are your standard stock throws that every team has. Of course that happens. A lot of times those passes, are tight window throws. So I don't think that's an excuse. So anyway, that's my hot take. I think this is the beginning of the end for Deebo Samuel. I think that his production is going to fall this year. So feel free to come at me all you want. That's fine. I'll stand on it. And if he makes me look like Kittle made me look 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, then I'll own that shit too. So I have no problem taking an L, but I just think that with Christian McCaffrey here, as long as McCaffrey is healthy, it limits the nature of what Deebo Samuel is.
So, Mike, before I toss it over to you, I see a question here. Was Kyle coaching all game? Didn't notice. No, Clay Kubiak coached for the third straight preseason game. So Kyle didn't coach any of this preseason. He let Kubiak call plays. Mike, you had a kind of a reaction to what Matt was saying about Deebo. I'd love to hear your take on that. Disagree or agree?
I pushed the mic away because I didn't even know how to address what he was saying. It's weird, right? Like Deebo has never been the guy that's going to beat man or press. That's just not how he's wired. But Cooked is like so tough. Like Cook makes it sound like the production isn't going to be there or anything like that. Like Kyle's going to definitely draw up plays and the slants and things like that. And Deebo's going to do Deebo things. He's going to be close to 1,000-yard receiver every year. He's going to get the carries out of the backfield, and he's going to end up walking away with 1,400 total scrimmage yards and 8 to 12 touchdowns on the year. Like that part's not going to change. But Matt also wasn't wrong with what he was saying as a route runner. I just didn't expect us to start that way, like just coming straight out the gate firing. So I like it. Like it's there's nothing wrong with what Matt said, but the Cook thing and his better. He's also not 30. He's only 28.
He looked like he's 30.
So it was just a very surprising. That's the word. It was a surprising thing to hear just this early into the episode. I like it. I like it. Shake it up. Let's go.
Listen, if this is assuming a couple things that Pearsall works out, that Cowing works out, but they're going to receivers specifically who are good route runners and have separation. They're moving away from the Deebo Samuel type receiver. So to me, like that says something. And again, you guys can disagree. You guys can say I'm, doing whatever. It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And by the way, people in the chat who have said I'm not talking about Colt McKivitz. I'm tired of talking about how shitty Colt McKivitz is. I don't want to do it every week.
Yeah.
Like let me spare the man. Will Jimenez, this is a low profile hat. The bill comes pre-folded, brother. Know what you're talking about before you come at me. Thank you.
So we talked about this in the chat a little bit yesterday morning about whether or not Deebo does still have it, basically. And I think I agree with both of you guys, but I think that was never really his game. Like he was never really a true wide receiver one, but I think where the problem comes in is they paid him like he was. Like they paid him as the complete package. Obviously, we know all of the drama that happened with he doesn't want to run the ball anymore. He doesn't want to be a wide back, yada, 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 all that BS, right? But the bill came due, and it was a high bill. The 49ers paid it, and now that possibly may be impacting their ability to extend their actual true wide receiver one in Brandon Ayuk, who, the report on is that there's a $30 million offer on the table. They're at the 99, the 1 yard line, but the fourth year is holding it up, yada, yada. I think that asking Deebo to go out there and do what Ayuk does is a mistake. I think similarly, we would see a mistake if they asked Ayuk to do what Deebo does with running the ball and all this other stuff, but that's not traditionally a wide receiver's role. So I get it. I just think that asking, like I said, Deebo to go out there and beat man coverage, whether or not, unfortunately, like Matt alluded to, it was like a third string quarterback, a second string quarterback, whatever it is. He's not going to do it. Like he couldn't do it in camp. He's not going to do it here. I don't care how skinny he is. I don't care if he's under, 200 pounds. It's just not his game. So his game is getting the ball in space, like Matt said, and let him work. It's not going to be operating off of a yard or two max separation. It's just not it. So Cooked. I don't know if I agree with Cooked, but don't ask that much of him. I would say that. Don't ask that much of him. I'd rather they focus and ask that much of Kittle, because I think he's a true man beater that they unfortunately don't utilize as much as they should. By the way, Matt, I did see all of the drama about that throw to Kittle over the middle. Are we just forgetting that that's not like a normal Brock Purdy throw? Like I think I could count off the top of my head 5 times he's made that throw, and every time people are like, "This fucking guy's lucky, man. He's gonna get caught one of these times." Like, he's proved he could make that throw. He could fit it over the linebacker and in between the linebacker and the safety. I don't understand why people are still acting like it's pure luck and there's no skill or any of that put into it.
Yeah, listen, first of all, people are living off the fact that Deebo Samuel had a good 2021. He hasn't done that since then. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of coaches are scheming for the stuff that Deebo does well. You know what I mean? Like, all you got to do is account for him in space, and that's easier said than done against the Kyle Shanahan offense. But the scheme is what's now carrying Deebo, not Deebo. Because if you take away the things that Deebo does in space and you force him to be a wide receiver, you largely negate everything that Deebo Samuel's good at. When he got that long touchdown pass last year, everybody was like, what a layup pass for Brock Purdy. He didn't get no credit for that deep ball. Right? What was that? He was wide ass open by like 10 yards. That was scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of being a pure wide receiver, he's cooked, man. He can't separate. And I know he's never been like this or that, but it is what it is, man. As far as the Purdy, go ahead.
I was going to get back to that throw. We have seen Purdy make the layered throws over the middle before, and I think he does them pretty well, believe it or not. And I did see the big debate, and I kind of side on the perspective of luckily he couldn't follow through. I do side on that. That's where I am. I don't think that's where or that's how he intended to throw the ball, but luckily the defender was there, so he couldn't follow through. And everyone's like, oh, well, if you watch, the ball's coming off his hands right before contact is made and all that stuff. I understand all of that, guys. Like, I promise you, I get it. But there's a sense of like that game clock where you got to release it because you know you're not going to get there. So that doesn't mean that's how it would have been if it was a clean pocket. It's a silly debate, right? We're going
but hold on. Here's the other thing,
game.
Here's the other thing, though. You're saying, okay, he didn't follow through, and that's not where the throw would have gone. How do we know that if he was able to follow through because the defender was coming at Purdy on the side of his throwing arm? How do we know that Purdy's follow through wouldn't have allowed George Kittle to actually work through that zone coverage to get to the other side of the zone and catch it in space? You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to like think that we know what's going on or that he didn't mean to, because like you talked about, that clock is there. How do we know that Purdy wasn't just like, well, I can't follow through this way, so let me like throw it up, right? Because nobody talks about how often, Kirk Cousins got nice throwing stuff to Justin Jefferson, or how much luck Goff has when he throws to Amon-Ra St. Brown, or how much luck Tua has when he gets to throw to Tyreek. No, the commentators always say, oh, when you got a guy like that, you throw it up and you let them make a play. So why is it any different for Brock Purdy? Why is Brock Purdy underneath that scrutinizing lens that nobody else is under when you have a weapon? George Kittle is one of the best tight ends in history. And we're talking like he's like some scrub, and this was like a hope and a prayer thing. Whereas like I look at it as Brock Purdy was like, that's my dude, George. He looks like he has a spot in between two defenders. If I can just get that throw like somewhere there, let George go up and get it. Like, why is that a bad thing? You know, people act like it's just like the worst thing in the world. And I just don't understand.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going with it, right? It's like we not only have we seen him do it before, but football is football. There's going to be plays where Brock thinks he can fit it in, and we're going to be like, "Wow, what a phenomenal throw!" There's going to be plays where Brock thinks he can get it in, and it was like, "Dude, like you had to have seen that coming." Every single quarterback will do those types of throws every single game. Don't judge it based off of the outcome, and don't overreact either way. Just know that that's the guy that you have under center. That's how he plays, and you have to live with the result of the play. Like that's just how it's going to be. So I think it was a big to do on social media, and I get it. There's like not a whole ton to talk about, but I thought that was a normal Brock type of play. Maybe a bad decision, but the results are the results, and so you got to look at it that way. You know, you got to say like, all right, well, how did it work out for us, and what happened? So it was overall it was a good play. Maybe not a good decision. Maybe it's not how he wanted it to go, but who gives a shit? Like we've seen guys throw a ball and tip it to themselves, right? We talked about Danny Gray in the previous preseason game where he played volleyball. He set the ball to himself and came down with it, right? Was that a good play by Danny Gray or a bad play, right? It was a catch, and we got the yards, and we kept the chains moving. Like you just got to live with the results, because there's plenty of times where a defender will tip a ball in the air and not come down with it. So the results are the results.
And I do want to say that, you know, it's Jesus. I want to put this up. Kittle nowhere close as Lattice at Jefferson Chase, but who are they playing against? Jefferson's getting CB1, right? In comparison to linebacker, whatever, George Kittle is, in comparison to that linebacker, as athletic as Jefferson is to a cornerback one. It's all relative to the position that's there. When you're layering a throw over a linebacker, you would hope that somebody as athletic as George. You don't think Kittle's athletic? How high you think he jumped to catch that pass and brought it down through contact? I mean, that's pretty athletic
over the middle. Yeah, that looks like what it was. It was
how many times have we
backups?
How many times have we seen George Kittle knock a defensive end's dick in the dirt when he's blocking, but he's not as athletic? Just because it's a different type of athletic doesn't mean that it's not athletic. George Kittle is plenty athletic. And if you don't think so, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But I'll tell you this, George Kittle separates a lot better than Deebo Samuel does against cornerback 5 and 6. Because y'all can talk about Deebo doing whatever. The fact of the matter is, against these shitty-ass Raiders backup cornerbacks, he didn't separate. Didn't do it.
We got a super chat here. Let's get the super chat, and then we'll move forward. We got a super chat from our guy, Gray Fox 198. Thank you, Gray Fox. Do you think Trent regrets signing with us? He would have 2 rings by now. That's actually a tough question, actually. Does he regret? I don't think he regrets it. He probably does.
Trent.
If, though.
Which Trent?
Williams.
Oh, why? Was he going to go to Kansas City?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago, right? Or 3 years ago when his contract was up. He was like on the verge of signing with Kansas City. Kyle had to get involved, and it was a big old thing. And Kyle came in at the last minute and basically drove home the 49ers offered to him, and he took it.
But we never know, though. Like, that's a butterfly flaps its wings in Shanghai, and there's rain in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Like, who's to say if Trent doesn't go there, then they don't draft certain players or don't sign certain players because of the contract, this and this and that. I think that's a little bit of revisionist history, because it's not like the 49ers have been dog shit. I mean, he's gone to 2 Super Bowls with us when he's been here. So I don't know, or 1 Super Bowl, I should say, and 3 straight NFC championships. So I don't know that he regrets signing, because at the end of the day, I think you guys can vouch for this. I think it was Eric Crocker when we were talking about the Brandon Ayuk thing, right? When you talk about money versus championships, right? Every former player that Croc talks to talks about how like the money was more important. I don't know if that's going to be like that guy, but at the end of the day, like he's well compensated and he's on a good team. It's not like he's stuck in Washington still.
That's a good point, actually. He's not in obscurity. He's still having success, maybe just not that level.
I think regret is a little bit strong of a word.
Yeah. Mike?
No, I completely agree with everything Matt just said. I have nothing else to add to that.
So we talked about Purdy, we talked about Kittle, we talked about Deebo. Let's move on to the backfield from this game. Mason started the game. He finished the game, 8 carries, 42 yards, averaging 5.3 yards a carry. Longest was 12. Matt, you start off the show by saying how much he looks like the running back 2 for this spot. maybe we'll talk when we get into the roster. We'll talk about surprise roster cuts later. But I keep seeing Elijah Mitchell's name floated out there. Mike, you and I talked about this last show, whether or not the emergence of Jordan Mason and the addition of Isaac Guerrero, who looked good, is that going to make Elijah Mitchell expendable? Before I get to that question, what do you guys think of the rest of the running back room? We finally saw Guerrero. Like I said, he finished with 11 carries, 32 yards, but he also had that amazing kickback. Cody Schrader, 7 carries, 27 yards. Patrick Taylor Jr., 4 carries, 15 yards. Matt Breida, 2 for 5. The rest are quarterbacks. But what did you guys think of the running back room outside of Jordan Mason? Was there anything there that impressed you? Did you want to see more from? How'd you guys feel?
I saw a lot of consistency. This is what we were looking for. This is kind of what was missing. The 49ers rushing attack, like the first 2 games, it just flat out wasn't there. It wasn't up to our standards. And with everybody that was out there, they looked so much better than kind of what I was maybe hoping for, I guess. I don't know if it's hoping for. This was our first time rushing for over 100 yards in the preseason. The Niners went out there and they kind of like flipped it on me. Throughout the first 2 games, I'm like, man, the pass protection is A+ and the run blocking is terrible. These guys are opening lanes. The running backs all seem to be patient. I think you could see a little bit of the, I'm not going to call it butterflies, but they were a little antsy to start, right? The first couple of carries for guys, even Mason. I know we said other than Mason, but right, even Mason, he had an early carry that was either like a 1-yard gain or nothing, and then there was another one for a tackle for a loss. But then all of a sudden, he just like boom started going, right? You saw the same thing with Guerrero. You saw that with Schrader, even Taylor. So those were the things that I like to see. These guys settle in, settle down, and then start working and following the blocks the way that you want them to see. They were all taking the coaching very, very well. I think that however this running back room ends up shaking out when it's all said and done, the Niners are in good hands. So they all showed a lot of improvement. These guys show that they're very coachable.
Yeah. Nice. Matt, what was your take on the running back room?
I thought they were okay. I thought that I think it's a little hard to judge that once you get past those first few offensive linemen. It's kind of patchwork in different spots, right? You have backups in certain areas that are better than others. You have backups, that are running with a bunch of scrubs, and then you bring in somebody like, say, a Drake Nugent who's looking really good in the preseason, but then Drake Nugent's out there with like the bottom of the barrel. Like a lot of the people are going to get cut, or you have Kingston who's out there. I don't think the inconsistent part wasn't with the running backs; it's with the offensive line. And I think that makes it hard because when you look at Guerrendo's stats, 11 carries for, I think, 32 yards, which is not good in terms of his yards per carry or anything like that. But he did look decisive hitting the holes, and he did look like an explosive runner. That kick return was awesome. I think that I know who the people are that are going to make the squad. But I think it's pretty clear that Jordan Mason right now has taken a step up. There was even a catch that he almost made that fell incomplete out of bounds. But the fact that we saw that out of him and he had the wherewithal to get feet down, that aspect of his game is something that he's definitely worked on, and you can tell. And to be running back 2 in this offense, very, very critical that you can be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Yes. I think Mason shoring up that weakness will actually go a long way with Kyle to, to make it so that he goes Elijah who. So,
and I think also this will allow Kyle to actually rest Christian McCaffrey. He's not going to be playing, like 98% of the snaps. As good as Christian McCaffrey is, it's not that big of a drop off when he exits the game and goes to the sideline to catch a breather or to get a rest. It was a pretty drastic difference last season whenever he wasn't in there. So I think the emergence of Jordan Mason, and I love seeing players talk about him. Like, I think it was Purdy talking about how they came into the league together, and, he was 7th-round pick. Mason was an undrafted free agent, I believe. And he's like, just being able to see his work ethic grow and him actually turn into a true professional NFL running back. He's like, it's been amazing to see. He takes this extremely seriously. And I think the effort is, being shown on the field with the results he's getting. So I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, the 3 of us have been advocating for Jordan Mason to get more touches since basically he got into as the 49ers. So it's really promising to see.
And I think it's good. Kyle actually alluded to the fact that they can't get Christian the ball like 300 times every year. You know what I mean? Like he's like, we can't be wearing him out. Like it's just not a sustainable thing. So the fact that they have seen this much out of Jordan Mason, it goes a long way for Kyle to be able to live up to that goal and really kind of take a little bit of the load off of Christian McCaffrey and, maybe get Mason out there a little bit more. So,
yeah,
which was the goal with when McCaffrey first showed up. That was after Elijah Mitchell had came off that really good rookie season, and the goal with that was to take the load off Christian McCaffrey, split the carries, have like a 1-2 punch, and it just never materialized because Elijah Mitchell can't stay healthy. Maybe with Mason, if he could stay healthy and he's shown this growth, we'll actually be able to do that for the team.
Mike,
one of the things that I liked the most about Mason wasn't even from this game. There was a presser that he did, and I really enjoyed hearing that him and Bobby Turner didn't see eye to eye in the very beginning. So that tells me that the team saw something in his skill set that was worth holding on to. I don't know how many running backs other than Joe Williams that were on this roster that Bobby Turner was adamant, like, yeah, he's probably not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't make it here. Like Bobby Turner is like the end all be all for the running back position on this team. And to hear Jordan Mason talk about how he didn't see eye to eye with him, he had to learn Bobby's style and all that stuff. And he just put his head down, and to make it that many years in this system, or this many years, I shouldn't say that many because he's still here, right? To make it this many years in this system and still have an opportunity, and we still see the improvement, like it's something that we can see. I think that bodes very, very well for that young man. It tells us that there's something special there that the Niners can hopefully tap into this season.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys.
Yes,
sorry.
yes. No. Go ahead, please.
So I watched the first team offense, and obviously they scored on the first 2 drives, maybe 3, something like that. How hard was it for you guys to get excited about anything that you saw? There was plenty to be excited about, but knowing that, guys, it's just backups. As I was watching the game, every time I would get excited, it's like, damn it, man, it's just their backups though. It's just the Raiders backups.
Not me.
No,
not me. I'm celebrating that shit like it was a Super Bowl touchdown. I got my jersey on. I got my rings on. I'm rubbing it for good luck as they're on the goal line. I don't know. My dogs got their jerseys and gold chains on like they do on game day. I don't know. Maybe I need to get into the game day mood, but I'm ecstatic. And I it's a little less for the starters because I'm not that I'm less happy that they scored, but to me, I'm more happy when I see guys that are fighting for a roster spot, or really fringe level guys, and they have that good play, good catch, a touchdown. I'm happy for the team, but I'm also happy for them because it elevated. When Darrell, I forget how you pronounce it. Luter caught that. Darrell Luter caught that end zone interception on that fade route. I was extremely happy for him because I know how his status on the team is very much in flux. That's just me though, Matt. What are you as excited with its backups going against backups?
I've never gotten excited over preseason. I always consider it each week is a scrub bowl. Whose shitty players are better than the other team's shitty players. So it's good to maybe get a look, most usefully at rookies or players that are coming back from injury, or players that used to be highly touted, maybe highly drafted, someone like a Rocky Sin or somebody like that. And you see them in a new system to see, last year we were all okay, how is Sam Darnold going to look in a Kyle Shanahan offense? Those are the things that are really interesting. This year, the QB2 battle, who's going to win that? What's it look like at the bottom of the linebacker chart? We've been pleasantly surprised with, rookies Malik Mustafa, it's just, and Renardo Green in the secondary. Those are the things that I take away from, but overall the game, I'm just this is vanilla offense versus vanilla defense. They're looking for players that make plays when there's no schemed advantage for them. And if you can do that, then when the scheme is to your advantage, then that should just put you that much more ahead. I just don't know, man.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. I just can't get excited. I think I was more excited at the video of the fight after the game than anything.
Wait,
else.
I didn't see that. Send me a link. Someone's got to send me a link.
Right.
Put it in the private chat or something. I didn't see this.
Oh yeah,
got it.
It was fans in the stands.
Oh
yes. Some dude's getting a chair shoved on his face. Some Raiders fan.
What?
Throwing up the red flags and stuff. Yeah, the red rags.
I got you, brother.
God.
Here you go.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I get guys like, come on, guys, it's preseason. What are
It's
we
preseason.
fighting
It's
about,
stupid.
dude?
The only thing dumber than a preseason football fight is anytime you have a baseball fight. Like, y'all, there's 162 fucking games. Like, what are we doing? It's May. Like, who gives a shit, dude? We're not even at the All-Star break yet.
Right. They want you to post the link in the chat. I mean, if you want to, you can. But
I mean, just Google, just go on X and search Raiders Niners fight.
Okay. Next.
I mean, all right, fine, fuck it. I'll put it in the chat. Who cares?
Next is the offensive line. Obviously, no Trent Williams, but the rookie Dominic Poone's looking really good. Also, Jarrett Kingston is looking really good. I'm not sure if that's somebody they're going to be able to stash on the practice squad. I have Poone's numbers here from the entire preseason: 58 pass blocking opportunities, 2 pressures, 0 sacks allowed, 98.3 pass blocking efficiency, and that's via PFF. Kingston's looked good as well. Like I said, Drake Nugent has looked good. Colton McKivitz is still Colton McKivitz, arguably one of the worst starting right tackles in the league. What did you guys think of the offensive line? I thought they looked good. Once you started getting into the second half, then they didn't look that great, but that's okay. 75, I think it's Brandon Parker. There's a rep where I didn't know if the dude had arms. I mean, the Raiders defensive lineman just runs right by him and sacks the quarterback. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen there if he planned on putting an arm on him. But what do you guys think for the offensive line? Who stood out to you in a good or negative way? Mike, I see you're watching the video.
I am sorry. We should go with Matt first.
It's good.
No, I'll go first. That's fine. I think that Nugent, Kingston, and Pooney have obviously been bright spots. It's hard to get excited for the offensive line overall when Colt McKivitz is on the right side. I just can't. I can't, man, because I know that's going to be why as a defensive coordinator would you not attack that spot over and over and over and over again? You know, why would you not stack your line or you know, that's where you run all your stunts? And again, much like Mike McGlinchey at Notre Dame with Quentin Nelson, a good teammate can overcome a lot of your blemishes and your fuck ups, but it's not 100%. And you can't rely on Dominic Pooney to overcome the mistakes of a veteran like Colt McKivitz, who said he was ready to take things to a whole nother level, but he looks like the same shitty right tackle that I've been watching for the last 2 years. So it is hard to get excited for that when I just know that there's a weakness. However, that being said, it does look like Dominic Pooney is going to be like the right guard of tomorrow. And that's happening a little early because of the John Feliciano injury. So that's a nice find for the 49ers, and it looks like they struck gold there. Drake Nugent is another one who's been looking really good, albeit against backups. So I'd like to see what he could do against, you know, some better players. He'll probably be like a backup to begin the season. And we just got to see, you know, how's Aaron Banks going to look? When are they going to bring Trent Williams back into the building? Is Jake Brendel ready to go as the center? Like, is there somebody that could take that spot? There's still a lot of ups and downs. I think that we all know that the offensive line was the biggest weakness on this team last year, and it was one of the reasons why the 49ers stalled out at the end of the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm not necessarily excited about it. I'll tell you that.
What do you guys think the average of offensive snaps is per game in the NFL? It's like somewhere between
70 and 80.
70.
Yeah, it's like 70 and 80.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Matt Burrows, shout out to him. And this is all based off of PFF information. Matt Burrows tweeted out every offensive lineman and their pressures allowed per PFF. If we set the bar at 70, only 2 players did a full game's worth of snaps. And with that said, Colt McKivitz allowed 3 pressures. Yeah, he allowed 3 pressures in only 49 snaps. that might be the highest amount of pressures with the least amount of snaps outside of Lewis Kidd and Brandon Parker, who aren't expected to make this roster.
Do you say most amount of pressures?
The most amount of pressures with the least amount of snaps. So the people with the same or more pressures than him with less amount of snaps were Brandon Parker with the same amount, only 34 snaps. Lewis Kidd had one more pressure, but only 35 snaps. Isaac Alarcon, 5 pressures with 40 snaps. Alarcon, there you go. And Jalen Moore, 6 pressures and 44 snaps. Those were the people with more snaps than him, but allowed more pressures, which says he is the worst starter or penciled in starter on the entire offensive line. But with that said, that's just pressures. Now, he didn't put in their sacks or anything like that. I think the Niners know how to game plan around that in game situations. Colt McKivit's not going to be perfect, guys. We know that was one of the biggest weaknesses. The Niners obviously didn't address the right tackle or the left tackle. But while he's not great, I think he's serviceable. And when you have the highest paid fullback, running back, tight end, linebacker, when you have all these positions that are the highest paid, and then you also have to worry about what's coming down the pike, you're not going to have the highest paid. Oh, I forgot to mention left tackle before he gets this new deal, right? He's a top 5 paid left tackle. All these guys are getting the top end money at their respective positions. You're going to have to cut corners somewhere. And Purdy's blind side is the important side to protect, not the side where he can see the pressure coming from. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cut corners somewhere. He's not going to be that guy. Now, that doesn't mean that the Niners shouldn't go out and draft and try to see if there's better available at some point. But right now, we have to kind of deal with what we can, the makeshift offensive line, so to speak. And you have to bank on the fact that you have the best play caller and schemer in Kyle Shanahan and one of the highest paid offensive line coaches in Forrester. So when it's all said and done, they have paid the right people around him to make it okay for that guy to be not as good as everybody else, in my opinion. I just don't think it's anything to be like, oh my God, he's terrible, he should be cut and all that and blah, blah, blah. Everybody behind him was worse. So he's the best of a bad situation, and he's a weakness at a spot where we should be able to overcome those deficiencies.
I mean, they weren't able to overcome in the Super Bowl. So
that's not true.
I mean, they weren't. They weren't.
Wait. You thought the right tackle position was a liability in the Super Bowl?
It's a liability every game, Mike. Watch the tape. And all it takes is one. All it takes is one. 1 third down here, one second down there. The fact of the matter is I'm not going to allow anybody to defend this fucking scrub. This dude.
No. Oh yes.
Because yes, they can't go out and pay somebody to be whatever. But I mean, at the same time, do you need to draft, Jake Moody with a 3rd round pick? Can you maybe look at like a tackle there? Can you go out and sign an established veteran who might not be the best in the world, but who you can get 1 or 2? Like they do this shit at other positions where they find guys that come in and contribute. Most notably at like safety and corner, where these guys come in and contribute, and then they just stick with this guy who is a turnstile, and he looks okay compared to Mike McGlinchey, but that's like relative to, you know what I mean? Like it's like you go from Mike McGlinchey to Colt McKivitz, and it almost feels like your favorite sweater, right? It fits just right. It's kind of comfortable, but it's got holes in it. It kind of stinks.
A little worn. The color is fading.
Exactly. So. I get that they can't put a ton of resources into the right tackle spot, but to not address it at all when it clearly is an issue. I don't think anybody is out there saying like, by his PFF grade, he's like replacement level at best. So something has to give there. And one thing that you said that I think it's changed, and I think Nick Bosa has said this too, is that the blind side is actually not their favorite side. Like, at least for Nick Bosa, is not his favorite side to rush on anymore, because he likes the front side because he can see the ball, and when he sacks a quarterback, he can swipe at the ball. And so he said that explicitly. And so I think that because the ball, when you're on the blind side, the ball is blocked by the quarterback's body and you can't necessarily see it if it's tucked. When he said this, I know you're giving me that look, Mike.
No, I'm because Nick Bosa should shut the fuck up if he said that, because he doesn't get a lot of tip balls out of the quarterback's hands. That's not his game.
No. What he's saying is when he tackles the quarterback, if the quarterback is holding the ball and he can see it, he will purposefully tackle the quarterback at the ball to try to force a fumble during the sack. Do you see what I'm saying?
Whether
he gets them or not doesn't make a difference.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, Bosa's not that guy to cause a bunch of sack fumbles or strip. He's not that guy. He might have 4 in his entire career. So like, and that's not. I'm like, that shouldn't be the comment, Bosa. Like, chill, because you're not that guy. I've seen other guys do it, and I do understand. I understand the premise of what he's saying. Yes, it makes more sense that way.
Bosa has 10 forced fumbles,
but it doesn't say 10. From the left or the right side, because they move Bosa.
But what I'm just telling you what he said, man. Like, I don't.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, like, that's not even like his strength. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I just don't.
My whole problem with this is, we're not asking the Niners to go out there and sign top tier talent at right tackle. But like Matt said, just fucking invest one of your draft picks in it. Like, you didn't even address it. It's one thing if you're like drafting someone and they can't seem to develop into a starting right tackle, but you're not even addressing it. Like, you're drafting, running backs and wide receivers, and you drafted offensive linemen, but not at the right tackle position. And Kyle Shanahan just said today, they don't plan on moving Purdy to the right tackle position. It blows my mind. On top of all of that, they signed McKivitz to an extension this year. Then they gave him like a 1 year, $960,000 extension. So I just think that they could have made the choice to replace him, but clearly they feel comfortable in not doing so. And clearly they felt other areas like right guard were a bigger weakness than right tackle, because Dominic Purdy is now the starting right guard. And like Matt said, it took an injury to Feliciano, but Feliciano was a free agency signing last year who didn't really play. He didn't start until halfway through the year. I forget who they had starting in the play, maybe Burford. And then they did that weird thing where they were taking plays in and out. And
them.
And then finally, by the way, Feliciano got in.
Can I throw this up here? Because 49ers throwback makes a great point. And no shade to Ricky Pearsall, but Kingsley was there. And now he's starting for the Chiefs. So it's not, it's not like there weren't people there that you could get. I'm not saying that like
Guyton Tyler Guyton.
I just, there were people available. I feel like Colt McKivitz is your new Ahkello Witherspoon. I feel like you like to, get
the fuck out. I don't like Colt McKivitz. Wait, stop. Time out. No. Stop. All right. I don't even want this narrative to get out there. I don't think Colt McKivitz.
Bro, you said this motherfucker said PFF stats. He was like, look at these people behind him, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're advocating for this man like he's got something to offer, and that the 49ers shouldn't have addressed it.
All right. Hands up. Don't shoot. Hold on a second. All right. Never was it my intentions to defend him, advocate for him, or make excuses for him. I'm just saying that he is the best option on this team. Stop for a second, all right? We should have addressed it in the draft. We should have addressed it in free agency. I was just saying why the Niners have to cut some corners at that position. We have to understand how expensive the tackle position is on a team in the NFL. That's what I was saying. And so I understand why the team may not have done it. He's still trash.
I will say.
Let me be clear what I'm saying.
I will say the 49ers, again, I know that right tackle is costly, but that's on the second contract. Again, what it would have cost them to get a starting right tackle would have been a draft pick.
If he was good, yes, I agree. Okay.
I mean, because you still could have drafted Cowing, right? If you told me that we had what I would rather have, and again, no shade to Ricky Pearsall, but a wide receiver room where you had Ayuk, Deebo, Juwan Jennings, Jacob Cowing, Conley, and Bell versus having, and by the way, having a right tackle like Kingsley, or go into the season with Pearsall in the wide receiver group and Colt McKivitz, I would take the group with Kingsley all the time. I feel like the right tackle position is a more needed position for the 49ers than a first-round wide receiver was. And again, Ricky Pearsall could be the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? Like, he could be absolutely fantastic. But the fact of the matter is there were players at the position that would have helped and would probably be better than what Colt McKivitz is at a more needed position. And I just feel like they thought that they were going maybe too heavy in the offensive line because they did draft a couple, and they have drafted a couple every year. But at the end of the day, at some point or another, Dominic Puni notwithstanding, Aaron Banks notwithstanding, you got to put some first-round capital into that offensive line. Like, you personally have to do it. So
I want to make it very, very, very clear here, and I'm going to share this link with you guys. I was all about Guyton. Like, I'm posting it in the.
I know you were about Guyton.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't want anyone to think.
No. Like, I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
But I really fucked with Witherspoon. Like, I thought Witherspoon was talented. I'm not saying.
I know. I'm mostly giving you shit, brother.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my tweet, and the date is at the bottom of that tweet right there. Thank you for putting it up so quickly. I want y'all to be clear. I wanted Guyton. I was not that guy. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm cool with Colton McKivitz. He can kick rocks. I just think that a team in our position, and with the Super Bowl window being the way it is, there's many highly paid players on this roster. There's a reason why we have almost unanimously the best roster from top to bottom in the NFL. We're going to have to cut corners somewhere. And that was all I was saying. That's it.
No, for sure.
Now, doesn't mean that we couldn't get better somewhere else. So, yeah, I was all about that.
This is the same issue that I've had with them drafting first-round defensive linemen for so many fucking years. It's just like, dude, you got enough in that room, okay? If you can't work with that without Ricky Pearsall in there, then I don't know what to tell you. But you keep ignoring the offensive line in a lot of ways. And again, Puni works out, then, that's fantastic. That's going to be great. No shade to that. Kingston can work out. Fantastic. That's great. But at the end of the day, they're not putting in the top level capital that you need to at least make it look like you give a shit, because it doesn't look like you give a shit about right tackle.
Yeah.
And just to add on to that, Kenny, early offensive line draft picks failed too. Our point is they didn't spend any. They didn't spend any on right tackle. Mm-hmm. Like they spent some on center or guard with Puni and Kingston, and then they drafted Drake Nugent as an undrafted free agent. They signed him, as an undrafted free agent. None of those picks went to right tackle. So clearly they felt comfortable with McKivitz enough to not even address it, even with the 6th or 7th round pick. I mean, they didn't do any of it. So it's like, you can't tell me like, oh, well, it's not worth it because those picks failed too. They didn't even try. So that's our whole point, is we would at least like to see them try. And then if it fails, then, oh, well. There's a good chance Ricky Pearsall flames out and never turns into anything as a first-round pick. Look what the fuck just happened with Trey Lance, where they traded all those picks to get. So it's not the fact that it could not work out. That's always an option, especially when you draft players. You're not signing a proven free agent, but we would at least like to see the effort and the attempt of it working out rather than just scrapping the whole thing before it happens.
And Kenny, no shade, the 49ers did draft McGlinchey in 2018. But again, that's 6 years ago at this point, and it certainly doesn't stop them from drafting third-round fucking running backs. You know what I mean? Like, just because you don't hit once doesn't mean you never go. Like, are they never? Is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, if they continue to have jobs, are they never going to draft a first-round quarterback ever again? Because Trey Lance didn't work out. Are they never going to draft a second-round wide receiver because Dante Pettis didn't work out? Like, if you try to build your team with that in mind, oh, we didn't get it right the last time, that you're going to be on the unemployment line real quick, because you have to have a short memory with those bust draft picks. Like, all right, that didn't work out, fuck it, let's keep going.
And also I see Kurt Kingston played right tackle last year, so it's not true. They didn't play him once this preseason. I haven't seen any reports of him practicing a right tackle.
They do weird shit too. Like, just because a player plays at a certain position in college doesn't mean that the 49ers are going to play him there. Like, how many times do they flip-flop cornerbacks and safeties back and forth? It's whether they think they want to put them where they're going to fit the best for the team.
It's not just corners. Forrester purposely went out and said Hubbard and God damn it, I can't remember the other guy. He said that those guys played Hubbard played right tackle, so I moved him to left to see how he does out of position. And the other guy, I forget who it is, played left tackle, so I moved him to right. He said that they did that all preseason just to see how comfortable these guys were. That was literally something he said just a week ago.
Talking about Jalen Moore. Was it Moore?
No, it wasn't Jalen Moore. It's another new
Ben
guy
Barch,
that's on the
maybe?
roster right now. Maybe it was Barker. But he said that he
maybe
said that
Lewis
one
Kidd.
guy. One guy played left, the other guy played right. So he purposely swapped them to see how they play in preseason. Or he said, if I can get them to be comfortable on the opposite side, then we have someone good, which tells me they're looking for another swing tackle replacement. All right. So that's what, there's no more Coleman here or whatever, but that's what that tells me. So
that means they know Jalen Moore is trash.
yeah, exactly. That tells me the Niners are looking to keep things moving. So we absolutely have to keep that in mind, that there's some offensive linemen that played in games at certain positions that aren't their natural positions, which drives me absolutely crazy. I hate that about this team. Sometimes you got to stop outsmarting yourself. If you need a right tackle, draft the fucking right tackle. Don't draft the left tackle and say change everything you did for the last 3 or 4 years in college.
And that's all I'm saying with the whole putting too much, when I can't remember who it was. Somebody asked Kyle about them not spending a ton on the line. And he's like, oh, I want to get guys that you can get the ball and they score touchdowns. It's like, well, there's only one fucking ball, dude. Like at the end of the day, you need somebody that's going to protect the guys that have the ball that can go and score the touchdowns. Because if Brock Purdy is getting blown up, and let's face it, Brock Purdy has hit way too much grass this preseason in the 2 games that he played. Then you're gonna get and Brock Purdy's not a big dude, right? Like he could be tough all he wants, but the sheer size difference is going to lead to some issues if they don't protect him properly. And again, the quarterback is the lifeblood of the team. How many years have they been trying to get the quarterback spot right? And if you think that you've got the quarterback spot right, why would you not take a page out of like Kansas City's book, where they always are churning their offensive line to protect Patrick Mahomes? Right? If you think Brock Purdy is that dude, like you don't think you have enough, like go protect him at this point now. You don't need Ricky Pearsall. That's a luxury item. Why don't you go and get a necessity? You're not going to run a Ferrari without tires. It don't matter how fast a Ferrari is if you ain't got the tires to keep it on the road. So
it reminds me of that meme. I saw it a lot back when the Bengals had a top pick they ended up using on Chase. But it's like the quarterback with a top offensive lineman throwing to any receiver, opposed to a quarterback with no offensive lineman getting sacked and a top receiver wide open, 30 yards down the field. It's like you can't have both. It has to be one or the other. And I think they should focus on protecting Purdy, because the ball's not getting to anybody if he's dancing around in the backfield, getting sacked, running for his life, getting hit as he throws, getting his elbow torn off at the, ligament or whatever. Like we've seen it literally happen since he started, because they've neglected the offensive line. This year, they finally did invest some picks in it, so I'm happy. They look good, but we spent a little too long on this offensive line segment. So we're going to go into tight end / anything else, and then we'll get into the 53 bad roster.
We should just jump into the 53. Like, I don't think there's really anything else to take out of this fucking game, to be honest.
Let's just say, because the chat was asking, who do you guys think out of Braden Willis, Latu, or
well, again, that's all
53-man
shit, right?
Okay, well then, good point.
Yeah. I mean, let's finish up the rest of the game with just a couple of people that we thought were impressive. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Rock Yassin was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem with it. I still really like Renardo Green and Malik Mustafa. I think that as rookies, they're showing a lot. As rookies, they're not perfect. Obviously, there's some room to grow, but I think they're pretty good. Devondre Campbell looked pretty good. I think this team is in a good spot. I think they've had a couple of players that are really nice. So, yeah.
Malik Collins. I thought Malik Collins looked really well.
There it is. Give it to me, baby.
Yes, sir. He looked good. I saw that video going around from D-line vids. He just shreds the double team and goes right through and makes the tackle.
Yes.
He looked great. I was impressed again with Dobbs. I thought Dobbs looked good. I think we'll get into that when we get to the 53-man roster prediction. Luter looked good.
Real quick, how close were you guys to throwing your hands up in exasperation when you had Leonard Floyd and Yetur Gross-Matos both go out with knee injuries? I was like, golly, dude. I was like, we can't catch an injury break to save our lives.
It was one play after the other too, right?
Yeah.
It's some bullshit, right? It's like
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I went through a wide range of emotions in that minute and a half, right? And this is what I boiled it down to. It's fucking football, dude. There was nothing crazy about either one of those plays for either one of those guys. And everyone's like, oh, you played the starters too long and blah, blah, blah. Those were their first reps. Well, not Matos. So let me fix what I'm saying. But it was the first reps for Floyd in preseason. Like, I'm not mad at it at all. Like, dude, like, heal up. It wasn't anything significant. Knock on wood. Nothing significant. Nothing's gonna cost us any significant time. We got 2 weeks off and all that stuff. We're gonna take care of it. Everyone's got to calm down and chill out. Injuries is a part of football. The fact that Floyd in particular got up, walked off the field on his own fruition, no assistance or anything like that, and was on the sideline laughing and smiling and shooting the shit with Kyle just a series later in the camera shot. I'm absolutely fine with it. But to Matt's question, how close were you to throwing something? I was very close. I was very like, God damn it, like we can't catch a break. This is the off season from hell. This is the preseason from hell. So because it wasn't just those guys. Like those guys were the icing on the cake. We have been hit with a lot of injuries this preseason. I don't know if people have been paying attention to it or anything like that, but Kyle Shanahan said it going into game 2. 23 going into
we had to cancel joint practice.
Right. 23 people didn't practice the final practice of the game. It ended up being 26 the very next practice after the game and all that. Like, and the numbers just kept growing. And then when you get into the third preseason game after, canceling the joint practice and all that shit with the Saints and all that stuff, when you get to the third preseason game, you got starters going down. I was like, all right, God, like we got to catch a fucking break. But the break was caught. All right. Nothing seems to be long-term or significant. So we did catch a break. And even if it was something that was going to shorten these guys' early season play, I'd rather us get stronger as the year goes on than to have it happen in the middle of the season. So I think that we dodged some serious bullets. I'm happy with the way things turned out. I wish there were no injuries. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to have injuries, 1, I would wish they were insignificant. And 2, I wish they would happen early instead of later in the season. So I'm happy with the way things turned out.
I would love to see some type of numbers on the collective bargaining agreement, changing the way that training camps rolled out with the no 2-a-days, no, limited hitting, things like that. I would love to see the effect on injuries because we hear about players all the time. I think Brock Purdy said it. I know George Kittle has said it. Sometimes you want to go out there and you want to take contact because you got to build those calluses to like when you first get hit and you're not used to it, it's like a shock to your system. You know what I mean? So I wonder how much is people trying not to get hurt and then it ends up leading to injuries when they, because again, you're talking about Floyd, who's been an Ironman his entire career, and it's like his first preseason action and he's getting banged up. And I know that the 49ers are one of the teams that allowed the least amount of contact in their practices in the NFL. So I wonder if that plays a part. There's a curiosity for me. But Zach, how close were you, man? Were you about to
Yeah, what pissed me off was Gross Matos got injured a play or two before Floyd got injured, right?
Floyd.
And no, Gross Matos got injured first, and he's rolling on the ground. Thank you. You were giving me the name. He's rolling on the ground, and it showed him as the camera's panning away, and I'm like, who is that? I think somebody's down. And the team's talking, and fucking Papa and Ryan are sitting there talking about how Brock Purdy and he looks so great, and I'm like, I think somebody's injured. I literally told Ashley, I'm like, I think a player's injured. And then they go to commercial, and then they come back, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess everything's fine. And then when Floyd gets hurt and he's down, they go to another commercial, and they come back, and that's when they're like, actually, Gross Matos and Floyd. I'm like, dude, that's what I was trying to say this whole time. Like, I think I saw on X before they finally announced it on TV, but they were just lollygagging, talking about BS as Gross Matos is like rolling around on the floor in pain, grabbing his leg. Luckily, they're, Gross Matos is week to week and Leonard Floyd is day to day. I saw D Winters also had an injury with an ankle and he's awaiting an MRI. Prognosis not determined yet. So I guess we'll see what the status is of D Winters. Hopefully nothing serious.
I gotta concur with you about, listen, for as much as, I don't like, some of the national broadcasters like Spiro Diaz or whatever his name is one of the worst. Like, I can't stand him. Greg Olson, I think it's just like a chore to listen to. Papa and Ryan are just, bro, It's so bad. Like, listen, I grew up watching or listening to Greg Papa when he used to call the Warriors games, right? Like when he was, and then he called Raider games and stuff like that. But there comes a point where you get tired of listening to somebody and it just doesn't sound good anymore. I got to that with, some college football announcers. Like, I think you're getting to the point where like Chris Fowler and some of those fellas are getting a little long in the tooth and they're not as exciting as they used to be. I can't watch the 49ers local broadcast to save my life. It's so annoying.
Yeah. So I could listen to, this is going to sound a little contradictory to what Matt said, but I'm going to circle it back and tie it all up in a nice bow, right? I could listen to Tim Ryan talk football all day because he's a trenches guy, right? Like, I like the way he talks about energy and momentum, and this guy's a dog. Like, sometimes he just gets away from the analytical bullshit and says, no, this is the kind of guy you want the ball in his hands, right? Like, you hear that kind of stuff. Or this is the kind of guy you want on your defense, leading the team, blah, 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 blah. I have hated Greg Papa since the day the Niners signed him because I was a person that listened to KMBR and what's the other local one? It's two of them. It's KMBR.
The Bone.
No, it's not the Bone. What the hell is the other one? 90. What the hell is it? There's two of them out there. Oh, I'll tell you.
I only listen to KMBR.
He was calling for the Raiders on both of these.
Oh, is it the Mighty 1090?
No, 95.7 the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that? Is that KMBR?
Yep.
No,
95,
that's opposite.
No, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the two. And he would do these guest appearances. And while he was working for the Raiders, he went out of his way to trash talk the other team from the Bay all the time. I hated Greg Papa. And those things were like burned into my memory for years of him just going out of his way to trash. Like, the Niners would be in the postseason and the Raiders are just at home chilling with no hopes of making the postseason. And he's still going out of his way to trash talk the 49ers, right? And I get it. You work for the fucking Raiders, dude. And then they announced him as our team's call. I was like, wait, what? Have you guys heard him? Like, what are you asking the fans to do right now? So I have disliked Greg Papa. We lost Zach. I have disliked Greg Papa since we have signed him here. There he goes. I have disliked Greg Papa since then. So, Matt, to your point, just hearing his voice makes my stomach turn. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
No shade to Tim Ryan. Okay. No shade at all. And someone put Spiro Agnew, the former vice president of the United States. No, it's Spiro Diaz. Like, I was right. I just don't know how to pronounce his name. If it's Diaz or
I don't know who this is. I Googled it when they commented it.
Spiro Diaz, he typically calls games with Adam Archuleta, who is a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
I don't like Adam Archuleta. Some of the athletes are really bad.
Some people can be fucking idiots, but I at least appreciate their voice. Does that sound weird?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, okay. I can at least enjoy this person calling this game, even though they're saying some dumb shit. But
like, there are certain announcers in the NFL that I really like. So one of the ones that I like is Mike Tirico. I think Mike Tirico is really good.
Yep.
I like the way that he calls games. One of the other ones that I really like, who does mostly the CBS games, is fucking, oh my God, Kevin Harlan. I love Kevin Harlan.
Oh, he's great.
I've loved Kevin Harlan forever, right?
Kevin Harlan won me over. That guy on the field. Oh, he's at the 10. He's at the 15.
Yeah.
Oh, he's taking his shirt off. That call by Kevin Harlan put him in the Hall of Fame of announcers for me.
Do you remember when he had two games on at once and he's like calling both games because one hadn't ended yet? That was awesome, dude. Kevin Harlan's great.
I'm an old school, so back in the I'm an NBA head. I love basketball, and I know that he used to be the guy that would always call the Minnesota Timberwolves games. And just dude, all of his, oh my God, dude, when it was Marbury and Garnett and you had Wally Zerbiak.
Why were you listening to NBA? Like, what the fuck is up with you?
I used to watch so much basketball, dude.
The Timberwolves, though?
Yeah, man.
Are you from Minnesota?
Why not? No. I just like basketball players, man.
I'm so lost.
I got to say this real quick. Joey commented how he thought Tim Ryan was John Travolta at the start of the game. Did you guys notice the camera angle? I told Ashley this looks like it's a Al-Qaeda hostage video. The lighting's all harsh and they're from way down. They're looking up and talking. I'm like, what is going on here? Who set this up?
Little bit of a confession here. And I didn't say it while I was live, but I will admit I stream. I don't have cable. Everything I have is through IPTV. So I have like these paid things, and sometimes you will get a bootleg broadcast, meaning like it's like a stream of a stream with someone else's voiceover on it and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, like this is on NFL Network. What the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this that I'm seeing here? So that's funny as hell that you said that. But they fixed it though. They did get it corrected.
So what I was going to say about Tim Ryan before we got sidetracked, I would love to listen to Tim Ryan talk football over a beer. What I don't want is for him to like pretty much glaze everything that Greg Papa says, and just like it's too complimentary. You know what I mean? Ted Robinson, who used to do the 49ers radio, amazing. And I think maybe that's part of it, right? I've never liked Greg Papa, and when you follow somebody like Ted Robinson, who is just an icon, I think that's a hard act to follow. Yeah. But at the same time, like Greg Papa is uniquely bad.
Okay, let's get into this roster predictions.
Yes.
We're going to start right at the top with
the quarterbacks.
Mike, how many quarterbacks did they keep last year?
All right. Very, very good question. So last year, the 49ers kept 3 quarterbacks. Now, I want to remind everybody that
most teams will.
But the Niners before this kept 2. And the reason I want to say this is because Purdy was coming off of an injury. And so then it was no Lance, no Garoppolo. We don't quite know what's out there. So take this position in particular with a grain of salt. But they did keep 3 last year.
Also remember that they changed the rule to have the emergency quarterback as well, but they have to be on the 53. So most teams have opted to carry 3. And that was directly related to the 49ers playing, 4 or 5 starting quarterbacks during the season? Yep. So,
Yep. Okay.
And actually, I think they went through all 3 of theirs in the NFC Championship game.
So, which quarterbacks are making this roster? Matt, you're on the big screen, so let's hear yours.
Brock Purdy, obviously that's a no-brainer. Backup is going to be the question. I think that just based on when they played, I think that Brandon Allen has a little bit of the edge.
Really?
And I do. Josh Dobbs has been on 8 teams in 8 seasons. There's a reason for that. I think that maybe he gets waived. I think they carry 2.
Wow. Okay. I'm the other way around. Actually, I think it's Purdy and Dobbs. I think Dobbs showed more. I do think they like Allen a little more, but I think Dobbs just has that extra ability to make a play. I saw somebody say it, and it's been talked about this phrase for quarterbacks. Allen may not lose you the game, but he's not going to win it for you. And I think Dobbs would go out and win it for you. We've seen him make plays this preseason.
He'd also go out and lose the game for you.
He would, but he has that extra step that I don't think Allen has. It would be interesting to see Allen with the starters, but I have Purdy and Dobbs. I think they just keep 2. Mike?
I'm going to go with 3. And here's the kicker. I don't think Allen is one of those 3. I think that the Niners try to dangle him out there for trade bait for another team right before the 4 p.m. deadline. So don't be surprised if you hear a very late trade of a future 7th round pick for Brandon Allen. I think Dobbs has done more than enough to solidify his spot. Now, the only thing that makes me nervous about Dobbs is he will do a little bit more as an off-season, off-schedule quarterback than what Allen will. Both of those guys operate at a decent level. I think actually the nod would go to Allen as far as in rhythm, drop back, deliver the ball. I still have Allen a little bit ahead of Dobbs, but what Dobbs gives you if a play breaks down is a little bit more. I could see if Purdy goes down, teams adding some more pressure, trying to, ruffle the feathers, and that's when you're going to want a guy like Dobbs. And I think the Niners, if I can see that, I think the Niners can see that. So I'm going to go with 3, and I'm going with Purdy, Dobbs, and Mordecai making the final or the first 53-man roster.
I think Mordecai is their practice squad guy for the emergency quarterback. I think Dobbs is just outright released.
You think no? I'm willing to bet you he doesn't get released.
Okay, all right. We're not gonna have time to go through the comments.
I'm sorry. Okay,
sorry. You're good. Let's do running backs. Mike, how many running backs did they keep? 5 running backs last
5,
year.
including Juice. So
got it.
Yes.
4 running backs, 1 fullback.
Yep.
Matt?
Yeah, I have McCaffrey, Juszczyk, Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero, and Cody Schrader.
Wow, you think they keep? Okay, sorry, Mike.
I have Kyle Juszczyk, Jordan Mason. I have Isaac Guerrero, and Mitchell. Those are my 4 guys. I don't think Schrader makes it as a running back. And if we're going to count Juice in this, then Juice. That's my 5.
Yep.
So for me, I have McCaffrey, Mason, Guerrero, and Mitchell, plus Juice.
See, I think
so Matt so far
has I'm done with Mitchell. I think the team is just about done with Mitchell too, and I think that Guerrero coming back and Jordan Mason stepping up makes Elijah Mitchell expendable in a contract year, and they're just going to release him. It's not about Schrader being better than Mitchell. Okay, I want people to understand this. It's not about Schrader being better than Mitchell. It's about that Mitchell isn't going to get an opportunity because Jordan Mason right now clearly better than him because he's on the field. Okay, Isaac Guerrero, they put draft capital into, and they're going to want to see him on the field sooner rather than later. And they've had a habit of doing. They don't have a problem getting rid of running backs that aren't making the cut. Elijah Mitchell is a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick or whatever he was. And how many carries has he had the last 3 years? At the end of the day, they want people who produce. NFL is what have you done for me lately? And y'all can look back to 2020 if you want to and think about Elijah Mitchell or 2020, wherever the fuck he was drafted. And you can hold on to that, but I don't think the team is. I think they're moving forward. So Matt Breida obviously isn't going to be it. Patrick Taylor's not going to be it. Keyshawn Vaughn is not going to be it. They could try to maybe stash. Maybe the only way I see Elijah Mitchell staying on this roster is if they try to stash Cody Schrader on the practice squad.
Okay. You have two quarterbacks, Matt, right?
2.
And how many running backs then? Counting Juice.
5.
Counting Juice.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think they didn't play Mitchell in this preseason game? I'm sorry, guys. I know you want to get out of here.
He was hurt again. He's been hurt.
I thought he was back at practice this last week.
Yeah, but he's hurt. Like he's consistently hurt. Like they don't want to risk him in the preseason because he gets hurt. But if you can't risk him in the preseason, then you can't risk him in the regular season. And you can't trust him. He's going to have 5 carries and then fucking tear his MCL again and be out for 9 weeks. And that, again, we've done this song and dance enough times where you're just going to get that injury prone label. And if you can't stay healthy, then exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly. Tearing both MCLs in the same season. He came back from one and tore the other. He was like, fuck it. I need this 2-piece.
Yeah. Okay. My thoughts on it, and then we'll move on, is if they have a trade option for him, I think they do. I don't think they just outright release him, but we'll see.
But why not? What does it cost the team to release him?
What does it keep to keep him? What does it cost to keep him? I don't think. I think it's more valuable to have him.
It costs somebody with potential. So here's the thing: you guys say Cody Schrader sucks. I don't know that he sucks because the offensive line in the preseason has sucked. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they brought him in for a reason, and I'm not saying that he's definitively going to make it. But if he's somebody that he's been healthy the entire preseason and doing shit for them, and they've moved him around and done a bunch of different things, what has Elijah Mitchell done in the last 3 years? What has he actually done?
Well, to answer your question directly, is he's played well when in there. Only what I'm saying is when in there. And so I thought that by them not playing him, even though he was healthy in practice that the week before, meant that we don't need to see you. We know what we got. Go sit down and chill and nurse that injury and get better. So I thought maybe them doing that with him means we don't need to see you. You're going to make the roster. That's how I took it.
Okay.
Not saying it's right. Not saying it's right.
Wide receiver, Mike, you're on the big screen.
Last year, they kept 6. I am going to go with Deebo Samuel. I think Brandon Ayuk comes back. I'm going to go with Jawan Jennings. I'm going to go with Jacob Cowling. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to make the final roster. And I have Conley. Those are my 6. The shocker is Pearsall, by the way, but
first round pick.
Yeah.
He's a first round pick, dude. I don't know. I think people are going to be surprised by Ricky Pearsall. I watched a lot of him in college, and he's good. I don't know that he's going to be like it's going to translate to the NFL necessarily. Also, the injury he has is like more of a nagging thing, and Kyle Shanahan announced today that he's going to be practicing tomorrow. I think that they just held him out to just let that thing calm down. So it's just a quick explanation medically for everybody else. He has subluxation of the shoulder, which means that he partially dislocates his shoulder. He's done it more than once. And what you don't want is hyperlaxity in the shoulder, which means that it goes out more and more and more and goes out further and further and further. Then he would need a surgery to tighten all that stuff up. But I think that's why they're trying to manage it conservatively. And that's usually best practice for that type of thing. And Kenny, it's not just a pain management thing. You actually do have to strengthen the joint, because it becomes an issue with ligaments, tendons, cartilage stretching and tearing. Okay. I have Deebo, BA, Third and Juwan, Ricky, Jacob Cowing, and unfortunately for my boy Ronnie Bell, I also have Chris Conley. I think Ronnie Bell. I think that Ronnie Bell not identifying the back shoulder on the seam, which, by the way, I do think was Brandon Allen's fault, but Bell did not react to the throw, and just the total inconsistency. I think Bell is on the chopping block. They'll try to sneak him through on the practice squad, but I think he gets plucked by somebody else.
We all have the same six. I also have Deebo, BA, Juwan, Pearsall, Cowing, and Conley. Conley's just a solid NFL vet. I've talked about him for the past couple of shows. He's really impressive, plays special teams, runs routes. He's played in big-time games like playoffs for the 49ers and made plays. I like Conley. Okay.
And RIP to Danny Gray, but Jacob Cowing does what you were supposed to do.
Yep. Tight ends. Matt, you were on the Mike, how many tight ends did they keep last year?
4.
Okay. Matt?
George Kittle, Braden Willis, Eric Saubert, and Cameron Latu.
Okay. Think they keep 4 again. Mike?
I got 3. George Kittle, Latu, and not Saubert. What's the other guy's name? Tungus.
Tungus.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I have 3. I have Kittle, Latu, and Saubert.
Okay.
What's next?
So that gives us one extra guy. Matt also has one extra guy. So everyone has one extra because Matt only had two quarterbacks. Next is
what's
offensive
the number?
line.
Do you know what number we're at right now?
So 4, 6, that's 10, 5, that's 15, and 3, so 18. We're at 18 right now.
8, and I'm in 18.
Offensive line,
2 quarterbacks.
We're all at 18.
We're all at 18.
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
Offensive line, they kept 9 last year.
I have them keeping 10 this year.
Please go first.
Banks, Brendel, McKivitz, Pooney, Jalen Moore, Trent Williams, Spencer Burford, Nick Zakelj. I think Chris Hubbard has done enough to make it. And I think that the last one, let's see, how many was that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to be a toss-up between Zakelj is like my last. I don't like him at all. And I think he could be maybe pushed out by Kingston and Nugent. I think they are going to try to sneak either Kingston or Nugent through the practice squad. But I think that's like a little bit of a risk for either one of those guys.
Can I ask you guys a question before we continue here?
Sure.
I should have asked this before you did it. The Niners have Trent Williams on the list of someone who's not accounting for a roster spot right now. It's like
I'm assuming. So my assumption is that they get him back at practice and signed before the start of the regular season. That's my
That's what I wanted to ask. Okay, so you are doing this under the assumption that he will sign and then someone else will have to be released. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Okay. I know because I think that in that case, I think that you could have Kingston and Nugent both making it initially if you take Williams off because he's not on the roster. But as soon as Williams comes on the roster, one of those 3 is going to get cut.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes
sense. I agree with Ian Sharp. I think Zakelj should be cut because I don't think that somebody would grab him off. I think Kingston or Nugent, somebody would pluck.
Mike?
I am in line with Matt. I do think that Trent gets a deal done before the final cuts. So I'm going to go with Trent, Chris Hubbard, Aaron Banks. I'm going to go with Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz, Feliciano, Barch, Pooney,
Mike,
and Nugent.
Feliciano is IR.
Oh, he's already on IR.
Well,
sweet.
He still has to
so
count for a spot, doesn't he?
So it's kind of weird.
There's a weird rule this year. There's a weird rule where you can do it before the 53, and he can still come back by like week 4 or 6 or some shit.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's 2 spots for that, right? Designated to return.
So he's on the IR designated to return.
Okay. So does that count for against the 53 or no?
It does not.
I don't think it counts. That's why when you said Feliciano, I wanted to just like get that.
All right.
Yeah.
So is that
I will
10?
It's 9 then. I had 10 counting Feliciano. I will take him off. I counted Nugent. And I will actually throw Zakel back in there for now. I'll throw Zakel back in there.
Okay. I have 8 not counting Feliciano. So the 9, if you count, I don't know how that works. Williams, McKivitz, Brendel, Pooney, Banks, Burford, Kingston, Nugent, and 8, right? I said 8.
Yeah, that's 8.
You have 8 offense. Okay.
Plus Feliciano, however you want to count that.
So I think you're up 2 now, right?
Yeah. So right now me and
you are even Stevens. We're
at 27, 28.
We're at 28. Yeah.
And then I'm at
Zach's got a lot of wiggle room here. This is going to be very
Zach, you had 8, so you're at 26.
Yeah, he's at 26. So this is gonna really be interesting. Wow.
Who didn't
Zach's
say Jalen
defense
Moore?
is gonna be fire.
I didn't say Jalen Moore, I don't think.
I didn't say Jalen Moore.
You think Jalen Moore is gonna get cut?
I didn't name Jalen Moore.
All right. Jalen Moore not making this roster according to you two fellers.
I don't think Feliciano's done for the year either, though. Just quick comment. Okay. Defensive line.
Yep.
Mike, how many did we keep last year?
8.
8. Matt?
I think it's going to be 8 again. Bosa, Hargrave, Floyd, Malik Collins, Yetter Gross Matos, Jordan Elliott, Givens, and then this one's hard, but I think you have to go with maybe Robert Beal.
Bosa.
Robert Beal. I said Bosa.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Bosa.
I said Bosa, Hargrave, Floyd. Yeah, I went through the starters first.
Okay.
Remember also that Kalia Davis IR designated to return at this point in time.
Yes.
Okay. And then Drake Jackson is.
Who'd you say?
Drake Jackson's reserve.
Davis.
Kalia Davis. And then Drake Jackson is on the reserve pup list.
Okay.
Mike?
All right. I'm going to go with Leonard Floyd, Yetur Gross-Matos, Malik Collins, Kevin Givens, Hargrave and Elliott, Bosa, Beal. What is that? That's 8?
8.
And then I will give Kalia Davis. I think he's on that list that Matt was talking about, right?
He's on the IR designated to return, so he doesn't count right now.
So I don't have to count him. No. All right. I will give his spot to T.Y. McGill. So I'm only at 9. I'm at 9.
I had to decide between Beal, who looks a little better, and McGill, who's more experienced in the system.
Yeah.
Jackson's done for the season. Jackson's a bust. That sucks, but.
So Jackson's I have 9, not counting Davis. Mm-hmm. So I have Bosa, Floyd, Hargrave, Collins, Gross-Matos, Elliott, Beal, Givens, and
McGill or
it's McGill or Barrett. It's McGill or Barrett for me.
You know what? Alex Barrett pisses me off because the Niners just won't let this guy go. So he's probably gonna be the other guy.
Exactly.
He's fucking herpes, man. Like you can't get rid.
I'll go with McGill just because he's actually played and had good time, and he's I think he's a solid defensive lineman. So I'll go with McGill. So I have 9. You guys had 8. So then do we even out or we're all at 37?
Matt, you had 8.
Yeah, I had 8. Zach, you had 9.
Yeah.
You're 1. You still have an extra spot.
So I'm at 36.
I believe so.
Yeah, you're at 36, and Matt and I are at 37.
Okay, got it. Next is linebacker. Mike, how many did we keep last year?
All right. Last year, the 49ers kept 6 linebackers, guys. 6. This is going to be – well, never mind. Let me shut up. I'll see what you guys have to say.
Matt, how many linebackers?
I think they keep 5. Warner, Campbell, Winters, Curtis Robinson, and I think they keep 6. Yeah, because it's 2 physical position. I'm gonna say Warner, Campbell, Winters, Robinson. I'm gonna say Jalen Graham, and then Tatum Bethune. I think Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles gets cut.
No D Winters.
I said D Winters. He was in my top 3, buddy. Warner. I'll go through it again. Warner, Campbell, Winters, Robinson.
All right. I thought you said
Jalen Graham,
Warner, Campbell,
and Tatum
Robinson.
Bethune.
Okay. I apologize.
Yeah. No, you're
good. Yeah, I'm gonna have Warner, Campbell, DFF.
Okay.
Robinson, Winters, and Graham. Those are my 6.
I also have 6. I have Warner, Campbell, Winters, Robinson, Graham, and Bethune. I think DFF's the odd man out. I think Curtis Robinson has shown a lot this preseason. He looks like a pro. He looks like he's ready to step up. I just don't see DFF making it again.
Special teams not going to be a factor for you guys for that one.
I think Curtis Robinson.
That's why I have DFF making. I think
you have Robinson and Bethune run special teams, and it's just
Okay, we both have 6. So
and then Greenlaw's going to be mid-season return from the Achilles at some point.
Yeah. So you're at 43. I'm at 42. Yep. Cornerback, Mike. How many?
Wait.
Yes, sir.
Before we continue, there's only 2 of the guys that you're allowed to not have make the roster now that can come back later. We've already used those 2 guys. You can't have.
I don't think Kalia Davis is going to come back.
Okay,
so Jackson is definitely not coming back.
Right. I don't think we have Drake Jackson, but that means that between Zach and myself, we did not name what's his name? God damn it. What the
Davis Feliciano.
No. Greenlaw. Neither of us named Greenlaw.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So you
all right. So if that's the case, because Greenlaw would have to make one of these guys.
So he'd have to cut a spot.
Yeah. So I'm going to take off DFF and replace him with Greenlaw, who can come back later.
I'm cutting Bethune if it's for Greenlaw.
Greenlaw's on the pup. I don't know if that counts.
Is that different? Is that different than 2? See, I don't know the rules, so I'm sorry.
Strawberry React says he doesn't need to take one of those spots if he's on the pup.
Okay. Then never mind. Forget everything I said. Sorry,
we're all good.
I apologize.
No, you're good. Okay. Cornerback, Mike, how many did we keep last year?
Last year, the 49ers kept 5 cornerbacks, guys. 5.
5. Wow. Okay. Matt, how many you got this year?
Yeah, I'd say 5 is reasonable. I have Ward, Lenore, Green, Isaac Yadam, and then for the 5th, probably Darrell Luter.
Okay. Mike?
This is tough for me. This is so tough for me. All right. I don't know. I'm not going to give you a number. I'm going to name some names. I definitely have Ward and Lenore. I definitely have Green, and I definitely have Yadam. I'm gonna go with 5 and say Womack. I'm gonna hold on to Womack. I'm going with 5.
Ooh, I don't know if I could hold on to Womack after he just completely shit show, gave up on a touchdown pass against the Raiders.
Yeah, that was a lazy, crazy stop. But if he can go into the coaching staff and say, "Oh, I thought the ball hit the ground" or whatever, that's literally one play.
Didn't Luter box out a dude and get a pick?
Yep.
Luter also had a PBU that he didn't even know the ball was thrown.
That was the end of the Saints game, right?
Yeah.
Last week. Yeah. I'm Luter's not making this roster no matter what you say to me based off of my opinion. Fuck Luter.
Okay.
I'm over.
So, Mike, did you have 5 then? Was that 5? 5?
Yeah,
so both you guys have 5.
Yeah.
This is where I'm making my gains. I got 6, right?
Ooh.
I have Ward, Lenore, Green, Yadam, Yasin, and Luter, baby. I got Luter making it.
No Womack.
No Womack.
No Ambry Thomas.
Ambry Thomas is on injured reserve. He broke his arm.
Yeah. We're all over him. Okay.
So you guys are at 48, and I am also at 48.
That ties you up. Yeah. Yep. That ties you up at 48. Yeah. So all right. So before we get to the 3 specialists, let's just count the 3 specialists then. Right? That takes us to 51, doesn't it? Long snapper and kicker.
The math is not mathing here because we're not accounting for safeties.
Exactly. So that means we only have 2 safeties in all of us.
Wait. Let me do the math. I had 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs. That's 7. 6 wide receivers is 13. I had 4 tight ends, which would be 17. I had 10 offensive linemen, 27. 8, 35, 41, 46. We're at 46 right now.
All of us are at 46?
Me and you are at 46.
So
and now you're at 46 too.
Okay. Yeah, Zach tied up with us. Okay,
yeah,
so then
we're at 46.
But still, with the 3 specialists, that takes us to 49.
Yeah, then we have 4 safeties.
4 for safeties.
Yeah.
We're gonna carry 4 safeties.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Let's go to safety.
All right, safety.
And Mike, last year, if you guys, I was gonna say if you guys want to know, last year they kept 4 safeties, so that makes sense. All right, guys. Good job, guys. Let's go.
Omar says we didn't make room for Dante Johnson.
I think he'll be signed week 4.
Give it some time.
With his 37th number on the team. Like when they put when Dante Johnson retires, he'll be on the 49ers ring of fame, and under his retired numbers, it's just going to be all the rest of the fucking numbers. The 49ers
He's going to take up half the ring.
Yeah, that's it.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, I was gonna.
It's all right.
Doing safety.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Brown, Odom, Mustafa, Hufanga.
Brown.
I think that's gonna be pretty much the same for all of us, right?
Yep, that's what I have. Mike,
I got the same 4. Yeah.
Okay, and you said we carried 3 specials.
Jair Brown looks fucking good this year. Can I just say that?
Yeah,
he's looked really good this preseason.
But my issue is it's so fucking limited, right? Like I feel like it's only been like 40 snaps total, but he looked phenomenal in those 40 snaps. But yes, he looks focused. He looks like determined. This guy is, when they ask him to play up, if they ask him to put him in the box, he is doing everything extremely well. Jair Brown has a fire lit under him this year. He looks dangerous, man. He looks really good.
Omar brings up an interesting point. Can they start Hufanga on the pup? Maybe I don't know. Maybe one of the guys they cut, if they have to put Hufanga on the pup to start the year, they can bring him back right away. He just has to clear waivers.
I saw they have to make a decision rules, so I don't know. Tuesday.
Yeah.
They have till Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. I think Eastern to make a decision.
Because he hasn't even practiced with the team yet.
No.
Right. He hasn't done shit.
So, and by the way, Hufanga better be careful because compared to the other 3 safeties, he's going to look fucking slow.
By the way, I'm completely okay with the 49ers moving on from Talanoa Hufanga.
Same.
I think there.
I think he's super overrated.
He was already mediocre when he made the All-Pro team or Pro Bowl or whatever the fuck it was. You guys let a couple of pick sixes change your mind on him. I saw a liability in coverage. I saw a guy too slow to catch up to anybody, and I saw a guy trusting his instincts way too much. I am completely over the Talanoa Hufanga.
He's a hand in the cookie jar guy. Like I said, my big thing when I turned on him was in Miami when he let Tyreek Hill blow over the top to bite on a route to Jalen Waddle underneath. I'm like, nope.
Bingo. Yep.
You ain't special enough to be allowing that shit to happen.
Exactly.
All right.
My thing will be if contract time
comes in the league,
and he's gonna want top money for safety because he was an All-Pro.
Oh.
I think that's where the 49ers are going to say
safety top dollar is $5.5 million a year, though. So,
but can this team afford that? You know what I mean? I think they're more than
matter. Fucking around. I'm fucking around.
They'll be more than happy to say thank you.
Did we have any disagreements with Brown, Odom, Mustafa, and Hufanga? I think that's all 3 of ours.
No, we all agree.
Okay, we all agree. Jake Moody's going to be the kicker. We all agree Tabor Pepper's going to be the long snapper. Is there any thought to the fact the 49ers could go with Presley
Harvin?
It's tough, man. It actually is tough. For the price tag, I think Harvin has been good. Mike, you said on the last show, though, that he's very inconsistent. We've seen a very limited amount of punch from him, and they've all been good. But then out of nowhere, he'll have like a 20-yard shank from Pittsburgh. And I did search on X, and it seems like fans are pretty upset with that. As tempting as it is, I think they may try and trade him, maybe dangle him out there for some trade bait. I don't know who the hell's good trade for a punter.
No one's trading for a punter, brother. Come on.
But so I think it's going to be Wisnowski.
The big punt return that the Raiders had in this past game. Did you guys watch that play? Did you see what happened?
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you the short of it. Okay, so one guy for the Raiders scored 2 touchdowns in this game. That same guy scored a touchdown on a punt return because the punter outkicked the coverage. And those are the whiffs of Presley Harvin. And for that reason, he does not make this roster. Mitch Wisnowski secured his job.
And for that reason, you've been chopped.
That's it, baby. That's
show.
it. Situational football. That's it.
I agree. I do agree. I think Mitch Wisnowski is overall just more consistent. He might not get the booming kicks that we all, but let's not forget that Mitch Wisnowski was a wizard at downing the ball inside of the 10 last year.
Come on, let's go. Talk your shit.
So I listen, as much as I like the name Presley, it's a pretty cool name. But the name ain't the game. So if you can't be consistent on this team, it's not going to work. Yeah.
Okay, that's our 53-man roster.
That's our 53.
Let us know if you're different, if you differentiate with us in any areas. If you're watching this after we're live, drop in the comments where you disagree with us, what you think we did wrong. Mike, please, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, back to the punter thing really quick, like, and I wasn't exaggerating. I went back and watched that play in slow motion, right? The return for the touchdown, and I'm not exaggerating at all. Just linear yardage from start to finish. There was no one within 10 yards of the punt returner. That's terrible by the kicker. You can't just fucking boot it and give a guy that much headway to make decisions running down the field. It was just too much. So that goes back to the faults in the punter.
I will say I think he makes a roster, though. I think he's on a roster come week 8 this year. I think he's somewhere because he's a good punter. He is a good punter, and there's not that many in the NFL. Okay, but yeah, there's our 53-man roster. Any final thoughts here, guys?
Speaking of which, speaking of the rich getting richer and all that stuff and punters and whatever, I completely forgot until I just thought about it right now.
I already know what you're going to say.
Matt Ariza.
Yes. It's unfortunate. Big fucking leg on him, dude.
Yeah. So when Mike was talking about out kicking the coverage, I was like, damn, dude. I remember because he played for San Diego State. I remember watching San Diego State games because my wife went there where I think he had like a 91-yard punt. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's one thing to outkick the coverage, but like if you give the coverage team time to recover on the depth, it's very, very different. Kicking out of your end zone and then booting it 90 yards after the bounce. Like the return guy has to turn around and run to try to catch that ball. That's very, very different than what we're discussing right now. That's very different. Like I'd pay for that kind of ability, but can you control it and do intermediate? I don't know that Ariza can control it that much. It's either boot or like up in the air, right? So if you're playing in Dallas, that's not going to work because of that TV
scoreboard.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the scoreboard. So I think Ariza could be a. I remember him coming out. I want the Niners to go out there and get him, but it depends on the stadium you're kicking in and all that stuff. Ariza.
I just hope I hope he has success because he got absolutely like railroaded by those false accusations.
By a fake allegation. Yeah, it was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. One more thing, guys. We got to talk about the fucking elephants in the room, of course. Where the fuck is this Brandon Ayuk deal?
I think it gets resolved by Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday.
I think Wednesday. I think we see
Trent by
Tuesday.
53-man is 4:30 on Tuesday, correct? 4:30 Eastern. Oh, 4 Eastern.
I thought it was 4. Yeah, I don't know.
4 Eastern. Whatever the time. 4 sounds more right. I don't think they do things on the half hour.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your take on BA Trent Williams?
I don't know about Trent because the truth of the matter is both these guys are under contract already. So I don't know for sure, but I think everything gets announced for. You know what? No, I'm gonna take it back. I don't think anything needs to get announced before the final 53. Those guys will be here.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they have to have a deal done, either one of them. I want to remind you guys of September 6th, Nick Bosa's deal. So I don't think there's any pressure for the Niners. They are under contract. Their rights are owned by this team. They're not going anywhere. Stay your ass at home. Come in, whatever the hell you want to do. The 49ers reportedly forced Brandon Ayuk to show up for this last game.
I heard that too.
Travel with the team. I don't know where that report came from. I haven't called anybody.
I feel like that was a Grant Cohn thing.
Yeah, so I don't know where it came from, but it just came across my timeline that, I just found out that Brandon Ayuk was forced to show up. I don't know how true it is or false it is. But here's the thing. He is under contract. Trent Williams is under contract. The Niners own your rights. You can retire if you want, and when you unretire, we still own your rights. It is what it is. There is no rush for the 49ers to do shit. You guys are owned. You will be here when the time comes. It's that simple.
I don't know if it came from them asking Kyle why Brandon made this trip when he didn't make the first trip, and Kyle said he's healthy and we expect all of our healthy players to go, which I thought was interesting because his kind of excuse has always been he has a sore back, right? And that's why he didn't travel with the team to Tennessee because he had a sore back.
Better be
he's
careful
healthy now. Yeah. So,
well, no, because the sore back thing, if he doesn't show up and the 49ers think that he's not injured, there's a rule in there where they can toll his contract over. If he's claiming to be injured and they throw him on the PUP or the IR or something like that in his contract year, then you actually can toll the contract over and he would still be on his 5th year next season.
Yeah. It just pauses basically.
Because you're not performing contractually obligated services. Is there, I don't remember. Is there a deadline for multi-year extensions to be filed for the season?
That's a good question.
No. Extensions can be done all year long for players under already. So you can find somebody in the middle of the Super Bowl if you want. I'm surprised that none of us discussed the last play of the game. I thought that was a play that was maybe worth it. I do want to point out though, the last 2 times we played the Raiders, both games should have gone in overtime. The first one did go in overtime. This one, if there were overtime rules in regular season, it would have gone into overtime. So I just thought that was worth mentioning. But that very last play was a little bit of a, what are the guys called? The three, the what are those guys called? The
Three Stooges.
Stooges. Goddamn. Oh. Yeah. It felt a little Three Stooges ish. But I thought we would have mentioned that earlier in the game. Earlier.
Can we? I want to put this in the chat, Zach. This is how I feel about that play. Let me just share this. We're going to copy the link. I'm going to put it in here. Play it with sound for us.
Oh, okay. I put the Bulk and Skull. I don't know if you guys ever watched Power Rangers growing up, but I watched Bulk and Skull, and they had this really doofy music.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Kingston for trying, man. We were so close.
Listen, I get it. These guys are trying really hard, but I was just thinking about it. I'm like, dang, this is a lot for a fucking preseason game. And my thought was like, dude, these are the type of plays where somebody's going to get fucked up. Like somebody that, has a chance to make a roster. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's funny. It's silly. It's a little dumb, which is why I think that putting the Benny Hill song to it is perfect. But
what cracked me up is because Trent Taylor caught that bouncing pass. He finished the game as the leading receiver. That cracked me up. If you watch that game,
do you know?
Do
you know who was the second leading receiver for the team?
I want to say Cowing off the top of my head, but I don't know.
Cameron Latu, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
I think they have a lot of I think they have a lot of invested into Cam Latu, and he missed all of last season. So this is essentially his rookie season. So some of the inconsistencies I'm willing to overlook. I think he's worth keeping around. I do think, by the way, going back to just one thing, I do think that tight ends, they could potentially not keep Braden Willis, just because my one thing with him is he is dog shit at blocking. He's a terrible blocker.
So bad. I don't think I've seen him win one block.
And they put him in at fucking fullback. That's the one blocking
multiple times.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to start.
Yep.
By the way, last thing, I didn't notice any of you guys had Robbie Chosen Anderson making your roster. By the way, is it Robbie Chosen or is it Chosen Anderson? I feel like I've seen both. Do you guys know which one it actually is?
I don't know.
He was the name on the back of the jersey is Chosen.
Okay.
He was chosen to get his ass cut. So
he wasn't giving any effort out there. This dude clearly was just in it for a preseason check, and he knows he's not making this team. So that's unfortunate. Okay, we've ran a little late. That's going to do it for tonight's show. Mike, I'm sure the folks already know, but please let them know where to find you or where to find
guys,
good content.
Head on over here. If you guys are watching on the Nothing But Niners channel, make sure you guys to go to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Follow these guys over here. They put in a ton of really, really good work, whether I'm on the show or not. It is I promise you guys, it is great. Great content. And then if you guys are looking for bonus content from me, the live games. So if you don't have the Direct TV, I don't even know who the package is through this year. Is it Amazon? Is it YouTube? I don't know who has it right now. But if you guys don't want to pay that big bill, patreon.com/NB9ERS. I have got you covered. I promise you, you won't regret it. It is right there. Patreon.com/NB9ERS.
Go check it out, guys. Go subscribe. Don't miss a thing. Matt, please carry us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Preseason is over. We're going to see what the cut downs to the 53 are, and then it's on to Aaron and the Jets. So we'll see them Monday night, September 9th for week 1. Hopefully we get some guys back. We get some good news on BA, on Trent, and everything else. We will be here for you guys for that with the show, recapping, what happened with the 53 and looking forward to the regular season. And we will be back doing our game preview shows as well. So make sure you guys join us for that. Mike, holding it down as always. Zach, the host with the most. We want to thank you guys for being here. We love having you here. It's a fun every time we do this, and we couldn't do this without you. So for everybody here, for myself, I want to thank you guys. And until next time, it's regular season football, baby. So go Niners.